This is the June, okay, not quite June, it's almost here. The May monthly meeting of the Elder Care Committee. We're going to ask you to take a roll to see if we have a quorum.
Ms. McLaughlin?
Here.
Ricard?
Present.
Beston?
Here.
Chapman is excused. Camiso?
Here.
Cunningham is excused. Demolowitz?
He's here.
Moriello?
Here.
And Whalen? Here. 7 present, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here today. I know there's a lot going on. We have a lot of very busy committees, but that are doing some great things. But I just wanted to share something before we get started. I'll take maybe 3 minutes to do this. But a couple weeks ago, I attended a conference at the in Turning Stone. It was not a gambling conference. It was a conference sponsored by the New York State Health Facility and Assisted Living Association. And I was one of, I think they had over, maybe 100 people there, but they had at least as many vendors there as well. It was so informative for me, so very educational about what is going on in the industry of nursing care as it relates to nursing homes as well as assisted living. And I would just encourage you, if you could go on to the website for either one of these organizations, and you would get so much information about what the trends are in terms of staffing, what it looks like in terms of the Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement that's taking place. One of the things that I became keenly aware of related to the staffing and legislation that is out there regarding even an increase from 3.5 hours to 4.1 in terms of average hours that the contact that staff should have with the residents. And I'm telling you, the conversations were eye-opening. Every other vendor was a staffing vendor. I did not realize that most of these facilities, most of their staff comes from some agency. And that is a challenging thing for nursing homes, because if you work through an agency, you sort of pick when you want to work. You might just work 2-3 days, as opposed to a week of having a weekly schedule if you are an employee of the facility. So that is something that we really need to be paying attention to, so that when the leadership from our nursing home comes in to talk about some of these things, the more you're aware of what the trend and what's going on, not just in New York State, but nationally as it relates to this. I have visited some nursing homes in the region. They have people coming as far as Louisiana working in these nursing homes. And, they might stay 6 weeks, 6 months, and then they're gone. Or somebody might, if I had a CNA, I could probably work on the weekends, make a couple dollars, and be gone. If there's something that I want to do. So this is the way, I'm bringing this up just to make you aware that if you're not paying attention to what's going on related to nursing facilities, you might want to just go to the website and see, and compare what we're doing here at Albany County at Shaker Place as to what's going on at some other places. You might want to go to that CMS website, which is the national website that rates nursing homes, and see where we rank and as compared to others that are in the region and around the country. So I hold Shaker Place in very high regard. And based on what I heard and what I saw that other people are doing and what they're striving to do, I think that we can continue to be very proud of what's going on at Shaker Place. And we're going to go through a major transition in terms of leadership at Shaker Place. I'm very conscious of that, and I hope you are as well, because I think it's important that the relationship that the leadership at Shaker Place has with legislators is very important. And I've expressed that to the county executive, And I've expressed that to others that are on a team to find a successor to our current director. Because we are an important link to who's in that facility and how the county is perceived because county nursing homes are like disappearing. So we are the last of a breed, not just in New York State, but around the country. So the fact that we are at such a high level speaks volumes for what has gone on and the investment that we have made in that facility. So I just want to share that and hope that you'll take the time to tap into this information. And Legislator Whalen had a question, saw her hand go up, and then Mr. Demolowitz.
That sounds like a very interesting conference that I'd be interested in getting on the invite list to sign up, but like, how do you get invited on such a?
Well, I got invited by accident.
Yeah.
I was speaking to someone who was going. I wasn't on a list of any kind.
Yeah.
But because I was speaking to someone, they said, Carolyn, you might be interested in this, and that's how I went. So I will.
Can you send me the?
I will send
Okay.
you
Thank you.
that link, that information.
Thank you, Carolyn. And
Mr.
thank you for building.
Demolowitz?
I have full confidence in the county executive with his national search for replacement. Larry will be hard to replace, but at $350,000 a year, I think we'll find probably more than qualified people applying for this throughout the whole country. And Larry, I can only say great things about what he did out there. Hope he's not here, I don't want to hear that.
Yes, here, I echo what you just said. So thank you for listening and indulging me, but I felt it was important because it was an investment in time and resources to go to the meeting, and it's important that we share this kind of information with you and hope that we can all take advantage of this kind of information in the future. So with that, we'll go ahead and proceed with the agenda.
Sure, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank
We
you so
will
much.
take the items out of order and move to item 1, approving the previous minutes. I
Yeah.
skipped too far.
Can I get a motion? Motion by Camiso, second by Ricard. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you so much.
And now to item 3, amending resolution number 367 for 2022 regarding congregate meal services for seniors. Commissioner Rattano is here this evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good to see you.
And I echo all that you say about Larry Slacky. He's done a wonderful job there. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate everything that he's done and how he's worked very closely with my office regarding people that we've needed to move into the nursing home. He's got a crack team that is terrific, and they were more than hospitable to us when we moved our offices there. So personally, I'm going to miss him a lot. He's done a wonderful job, and whoever searched him out ought to get a bonus because he was terrific, and we loved having him. So that aside, we're here to ask for an amendment to a contract for Ravenna projects, so of $30,000, so that we can help them get a van. They do a large portion of our meals. Their car is, well, I think it's past its last leg. I don't know. I mean, they're asking people to volunteer to use their cars to get food to Albany. So we very much would like you to be able to pass this so that they can purchase a van.
Second.
Motion to move by Camiso, second by Besta. Did I see that right?
Whalen.
By Whalen, thank you so much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Nice to have it. So now we
It's
can
been
go
a
back.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Bring your seatbelts for next month because I've got about 20 things on the agenda.
I'm out of town.
What day is that?
Thanks for coming.
That's okay. We'll bring your seatbelts.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good
Thank
night.
Item 4 is authorizing an agreement with Language Fundamentals regarding speech pathology services for Shaker Place Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. Sean Thelen is here this evening.
Thank you. Was everyone to take that? You, Madam Chair, that was a great introduction there, and that's what we'll be talking about all night, about staffing at the nursing home. Language Fundamentals provides, excuse me, we're requesting for them to provide speech pathology services. We currently have one speech pathologist in-house, and this will provide 2 additional persons to do a variety of things that we found that we need now that we have a full census. We also want to expand the services that we provide. So in their services that they provide, not only their therapeutic and their treatments, they'll also provide items such as a FEES, which is an endoscopic service where they actually can go down. It's not invasive, but it's something that, you got to be trained on. It's a specialty where you go down through the nose. You can actually look at the esophagus path, see if there's going to be any kind of aspiration, because you don't want to have the person choke or have debris go into their lungs, and that's not a good long-term thing for a person to do. The term is for 2 years, $200,000 a year, up to $200,000. And it is only for services billed that we would get paid for, right? So if we're not getting paid for the service, they can't charge for us. They would give us a credit for those, so it's budget neutral. The goal is to provide the enhanced service to the residents that need it, and to also, be budget neutral and cost effective to doing that.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Ms. Whalen?
So this isn't a yearly, like a salary, because these aren't salaried speech pathologists that are getting 200,000 each a year. They're almost like
It's-
per diems, is that what you're saying? Or
It's more like a billable hour kind of arrangement, right? So they're gonna come in and do therapies or services that are payable through Medicare B or insurances or whatever the avenue of payment is. They go do their assessments. Our speech pathologist coordinates with that, make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Then they will chart it, make sure that it's billable, and then we bill it out, and then we compare it to what that service was provided. And if it's exceeding the revenue is exceeding the expense for that, then yes. They're actually contracted employees through Language Fundamentals. They're contracted employees, so they're actually an hourly employee for them, but their payment mechanism is based on that, if that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you.
So am
Mr.
I
Commissioner?
hearing that we're gonna be subbing from someone else, these employees to come in?
They are, a lot of the services that they provide, like the FEES therapy that I was talking about, is stuff that isn't routinely done by an in-house person because of its speciality. A lot of times they go out and medically perform that, like in a doctor's office, because you want to monitor people and make sure that they don't have any issues with that, choking issues, if you accidentally do something of that nature. The therapist that we have in the building performs like the overall assessment of people to make sure that we're actually getting the services that we provided. I see you got it.
Yeah, I do, because it sounds like we're getting a different person,
No, they're 2 dedicated people.
2 dedicated.
Yes, they're the
Always
same person.
okay.
Oh, yeah, they're always the same. I'm sorry, I misunderstood that on you.
And you said it's a pay-as-you-go kind of thing. It's as services are rendered.
Yes.
Okay.
Just a quick question.
Mr. Ricard had a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to come full circle on this, and I appreciate that tour you gave me of the
Thank you.
daycare facility. So is there any way, a lot of times when a child might need some kind of intervention services when they're really young, I was just wondering, is there any way you could incorporate that or one of your speakers?
That would definitely be something that we are exploring with who will be the operator, with the Cullen Youth Center. Anything that we can do in-house to be cost effective, and because, you know, it's purchasing power, right? The
Yeah.
more you have and buy us something, the cheaper it actually is.
Right.
You know, you buy the big roll, it's, you know, paper towels, you spend $2 a roll instead of $4, you know? And we would, yes.
I
It's
just
the
think
same-
that would be a win-win for everybody if you could do that, and you get those individuals right away when they're young like that. So it's pretty great. Thank you.
I know you mentioned, Mr. Bergdorf, you go ahead.
I just, from my own experience, when my mom was at the nursing home, and people don't realize that the speech pathologists do more than just speech pathology. But when you have an older person, you have to, they have to be checked regularly for their swallow reflexes. And as you move up from a liquid diet to a gruel diet to a chop diet to a full diet, the speech pathologist has to check you out and approve at every step of the way. So I can see where $200,000 sounds like a lot of money, but you gotta have a speech pathologist there every single day, 7 days a week, and one person just doesn't cut it.
When-
So I think that's the reason why you have two
Exactly.
people
When the
filling in
census-
to make up a 365-day shift.
Exactly. When our census 170, 200, we had our in-house and maybe a per diem to complement that. We didn't do admissions as often as regular. You have people coming in from the community or the hospital, you know, their first assessment is very, you know, I don't want to say tough, but they might have had a significant change in lifestyle where you're now going from eating normal food to you're going to have something mechanically altered to get that sustenance in you. So
Motion to move it.
Can I just ask a question, Madam Chair? I think $200,000 is a lot of
I
money.
don't get to ask questions.
The contract, they said, according to this last line, the new contract will require language fundamentals to increase speech pathology to 2 full-time staff members. So it'll be 2 staff members that'll be stationed at the
Yes.
nursing home?
yes,
So you're getting 2 employees instead of 1?
yes,
Right.
we have the one current in-house,
And does that,
and the two will supplement.
does that include their health insurance, or is that paid?
They're paid by the company.
So they're contracting these 2 employees directed to your service?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know their salary structure at the company, right? So we'll just say $200,000 a year, up to $200,000, right?
And they cover 7 days a week, is Paul's question?
They cover when we need them to cover. They have worked on off shifts, you know, outside of that realm. We don't look at it as 24/7 coverage, so to speak, because you're really doing a therapy at this point, right? You're getting,
Normal hours.
you're building a treatment timeline. So you're gonna want that structure of that, and then, of course, the orders that go through the weekend and, you know, the care planning that is followed to make sure that the person is monitored and how much they've eaten and if they had any problems and anything of that is charted. But their actual services are performed usually under the supervision of our own speech pathologist at our in-house.
It's different.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I have some personal experience with some of that work,
Mhm.
and it's different. It's simple stuff,
Yeah.
but
Patience for that.
I can see it happen to be done at any given time, depending on what's going on with the resident.
Tough.
So thank you very much. So is there a motion to move?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Demolowitz, second by Ricard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion passes. Number 5.
Item 5 is authorizing an agreement with Clinical Staffing Resources Corporation regarding licensed practical nurses and certified nursing assistant services.
Thank you. And this is going to talk more general to the conference that you attended, Madam Chair. The staffing crisis, I mean, we all know that it exists, and the way that you engage employees to make enough hours for the people that are under your care has been abridged to the point of it's like the Wild West out there sometimes. You said that half of the vendors at the conference, you know, are agencies, right? It's lucrative. They charge a premium. They promise what they sometimes can't provide, and that's why you see we have two different vendors here. So we have a backup, so to speak. But we did an RFP that for contracting services for certified nursing assistants and licensed practical nurses, LPN, up to $3 million over the course of 3 years. I don't want to confuse people. They're $2 million for this first one, and it'll be $1 million for the next one. So, but I want you to understand that they were combined under the same RFP for an hourly contracted rate for providing help on demand as we need it to cover our building.
What's the rate?
It's 38 for CNAs on both ones. One was
$38 an hour?
$38 an hour.
That's what the company gets.
45
What do we
and,
pay?
what's that?
What do we pay?
All in. Now, that's a question that it's gonna take a little time to explain.
Just tell me how much an hour we pay.
It's not as simple as that, $20 an hour in cash, in an hourly salary, but then we also have a benefit package that we cover, that's another,
Right.
I'd say
10%, you know,
another 15, 16.
yeah.
Because if you're a family plan, it's your employer share is probably just a shy under 30. So and we are in the realm of how much we should spend, but this day and age, a lot of people have shifted how they want to work. Contractually, you know, under the collective bargaining agreements, we always had working every other weekend as part of, you know, the pattern. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's not feasible, but it is sometimes a hindrance to, you know, what people want to work in this day and age. You know, some people want to work 10-hour shifts, some people want to work 4 10-hour shifts, 3 doubles. It's very, the market has made it a very employee related in that regard, so.
Well, CNAs are the first run,
Mhm.
and they actually do all the work.
Yes,
You know,
they do a lot of the direct care,
They're the ones that take care of the people.
all of
They
that.
deserve $30
And
themselves.
I'll tell you right now, our goal is to use as little agency as possible. We recruit through ECLEGO. We have a recruiting company that actually tries to work on our behalf for recruiting people. Okay, they give us a lot of leads per week that myself, our director of nursing, Larry even participates in interviewing as many as we can to facilitate, you know, a long-term employee because we want them to be our employees.
Well, I remember when we used to do it ourselves. We used to train. We used to train CNAs at the nursing home.
Yes.
Classes. So when those bus
And we
goes
still
to
do.
New
We
York
participate
City,
with Mildred
maybe we
Ellie.
should look at teaching them how to be CNAs.
We do. We have
Need 'em.
student classes come in and run programs where we get first access to actually recruit out of their classes. Mildred Ellie and Job Corps bring in
Well,
people.
I have Maria in my district, and they just graduated, you know,
Yeah.
200, 250 last week. I don't know where they all went. Probably St. Peter's took a lot of them, but, you know.
Well, all of the, it seems, from what I learned, a lot of the nursing homes do have those inside training programs and are rebuilding them.
We should probably look at it.
Since, and I believe, I think I spoke to Mr. Slackey about that a few weeks ago. There's some parameters that have to be met in order to do all that, but I do know that it's being explored at Teresian House currently.
Yes.
And then some others that are further down toward the Hudson Valley. So it's a very competitive business.
Yes.
And they,
It
and
certainly
you had
is.
12 responders to each one, to this RFP. They were all, I believe, at that conference.
Yes. Oh yeah. And you got 8 of them that got graded, I believe, on here. 9, if I remember offhand.
So it's competitive, so what you get.
Yes,
I mean,
and not to interrupt you, Madam Chair, a lot of them promise you what they can't provide. They might tell you $38 an hour and we can provide you 10 FTEs worth of people. And 3 months later, you're still at 3 FTEs
They're
worth
all
of people.
non-union, right?
Yes, I
So we
believe
get
so.
non-union employees coming in, taking
Well,
union
they're-
jobs, and they're working on the weekends, because we can't get the union people. fill the jobs.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
We have explored different, we're forming a committee at the nursing home to do an exploratory staffing or scheduling schedule. So outside of the traditional 3 shifts a day, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7, we're gonna have that group look at possibilities of staffing one unit. We can do it for the whole building at once, but one unit with maybe an abridged scheduling. And if we can do it with the same amount of line items and, the same, under the union if they're good with it, and negotiate that as being something that we can offer.
Does 1199 do training programs to get people in?
Not directly. They have an education fund that they do sponsor people to go to other schools. In-house, I don't believe they are doing it at this time.
Thank you.
And that, earlier someone mentioned the daycare center. A lot of facilities now, that's a real drawing point, to have, a daycare center on site. So the investment in that daycare center, at Shake Place is, the leverage that could be used, having that in terms of recruitment,
Yes.
I think it's going to pay off.
And a state retirement doesn't hurt.
Right. And so, because that was one of the things that was talked about, the kinds of creative initiatives that are being employed to attract
Yeah.
workers. And daycare centers was one.
I do dozens of interviews a week, and if you have children of age and you can be right on site with, your child, and during your shift, they're watched, and you have access at your break times, like, it is something that really is a marketable benefit that.
Ms. Whalen, did you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. The fiscal impact of $2 million, is that a year for all 3 years?
It's all 3.
And so just roughly, how do you arrive at that? Each one is paid about what? 50,000 a year, 25? They're not paid that much a year, are they now?
What's that?
The CNA.
So the 38, we'll just say this, and this is why it exacerbates the problem. The $38 that we pay per hour, right? That person's only maybe getting 25 at best.
Uh-huh.
The staffing agencies are putting on that, enhancement. I mean, if you have half of the booths at the at the national conference for that, you're making money somewhere. Not that I'm against it, but it does exacerbate the situation
Well,
because.
what do they pay their staffers?
What's that?
What do they pay their people? They're charging us 38.
Yeah.
What's the CNA get that goes up to the nursing home?
Probably 25, 26.
Yeah.
Seems like 2 million is too low. You don't think so?
Well, our goal is to not use
Okay.
this, okay? This is like the last ditch effort. We try to recruit our people.
Yeah.
We try to, train people. We try to do everything is what we can do to make an employee,
As an employee.
full-time, part-time, whatever. And our goal is to, if we used 1/10 of that would be
So all
profitable.
of
We don't
these
want
are-
to pay that, but we have to take care of people.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
the mandated hours that the chair was talking about, you have to provide that 3.5 hours of care, or there are fiscal fines that the state can impose on us,
For the wanderers and all that, right? Yeah.
So this discussion will suffice for 5 and 6, because it's the same topic. So, but I know she'll have to read it into record, but we need a motion for number 5.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Beston, second
Second.
by Ms. Whalen. Thank you so much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Motion passes. Number 6,
Item 6 is authorizing an agreement with Health Advocates Network, Inc. regarding licensed practical nurses and certified nursing assistant services.
You already talked about this.
you already talked about that,
Motion,
so
motion,
can we
motion.
get another motion? Motion by Mr. Demolowitz, second by Mr. Ricard. All those in favor? Thank you very much.
right,
Thank
and
you
then-
so much, Mr. Fallon, for being here.
Thank you.
Going back to item 2 is local law C, a local law for the County of Albany, New York, amending local law number 2 for 1975 as amended the Albany County Senior Citizens Tax Exemption Law. Mrs. Wright.
This,
Being a senior citizen, I support that. Make a motion to move it. I don't
fine,
qualify.
I think we've talked about this for like, we've talked about this for about 3 meetings, so now we just want to move it out. We had the public hearing, and now we're ready to move it. So is there a motion?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Demalowitz, who said so vociferously that he would like to have this done, and was second by Mr. Beston. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion carried. Let's go. Thank you so much for your time.